is really dear to my heart because this is basically all my life. So all my life, it's building to this moment. So please listen up, okay? Okay. So one question I always asked all my life is that, who am I? Growing up, I always knew I was mixed. I grew up in Indonesia, yes, but everybody I knew told me from a very young age I did not look Indonesian at all, right? So I have German and Dutch and Arab blood. Yeah, a lot. It was confusing for me and everyone else I introduced myself to. Trust me, you do not want to hear how I have a conversation with a Grab driver for asking who am I? Where's my parents from? Yeah. Annoying, honestly. So many people, and me, myself, and I can agree that, I can be very extroverted and many times I'm very loud. I love meeting new people, but I really am introverted in a lot of times. I like staying home and, being alone is way better than meeting friends, actually. So it was hard for me to answer this question growing up. And I'm sure for many of you guys here and many other people that it was a hard thing to answer too. So let's break things down. What makes you, well, you? So I figured out a few things that makes who you are you. So your DNA, your culture, your experiences, your personality, your interests, how you build skill, and everything in your life. So we know that there's a lot of things from outside, from other people, from our environment that influences us for who we are. You have to get to know that. So it's important to talk to the people around you, like your family members, or learn about your culture. I love learning about my culture and how unique it is. Every single one of my culture is so perfect in its own way. But but there are things that we develop personally. There are many things to get to know personalities. Like for a very famous one, MBTI. Has anybody heard of that? Yeah. For me, the easiest for me to understand is the four key temperaments. It's pretty similar to this thing called DISC, which is the thing I started learning when I learned psychology at the first time ever. So the four key temperaments, what are they? Sanguine, choleric, melancholic, and phlegmatic. Sanguines are extroverted people and they are people oriented. Cholerics are extroverted people but goal oriented. Melancholics are introverted, goal oriented people. Phlegmatics are introverted, people oriented people. I know, it's kind of tricky, but you'll get the hang of it. Getting to know these personalities can help you build connections, help you with jobs, know how to handle yourself and others, and improve. It's a way to accept yourself without changing who you are, changing your identity and erasing it. For example, cholerics, if you're a choleric, they make great leaders. So you have that personality, then maybe invest in, being a great leader and a guide. But if you're a sanguine, you can make great connections and be involved more and become a public speaker. By now, I think you guys already know what I am. I'm a sanguine choleric, mostly, but I also have a little bit of melancholic. By learning about this, it's really important. So you get to know your strength and weaknesses. That's that's a really big thing for you to understand because how you handle stuff, like, yes, improving our weaknesses is good, but it would be better if we improve our strengths more, right? Because it comes in handy more. That's our traits, right? So let those whose your weaknesses is strength build their strength. Let them take the lead in situations where you can't handle them, and that's all right. Let them have that opportunity to shine too, because here's a tough pill to swallow. Not everyone is meant to work the same way. My God. Right? Not everyone is suitable for one role, and that's okay. It's just an opportunity for you and other people to improve. Let others take that opportunity too. So, why am I speaking about this? Well, in your life, you will end up losing who you are. I know. Scary. Especially if you don't know who you truly are in the first place. That's me. So let me share a knowledge from a class that me and my mom took in Bandung, that there are three types of people, types of humans, correction. Humans, humanoids, and techies. What? What the hell is that? So humans. What are humans? They live their life repetitively. So they wake up, work, eat, and then do that and repeat. And they like it that way. That's fine. No judgment there. But there are also humanoids who work with 10 different things at once. And they like it that way. They like working at this and like, oh, wait, let me work in this, and then this, and then this, And they can't stay in one place. And they're also very sensitive and empathetic. So, oh my God, there's an earthquake in LA? That's my fault for sneezing. I'm so sorry for that. That's me. Hi, humanoid present. So then they have these creative ideas, and creative ideas are the things that make a world evolve, right? They make the world grow, thrive. Millions of, ancestors, they grow and they fall, they rise and fall like empires do. That's from the humanoids. And then we have the techies. They basically are the people who ruin the fun and creativity of it all. So in logic, they're the ones who's ruining the world. Now, don't do that. You look too flashy when you wear that. Or don't do that or you will go to hell. Don't do that. It looks bad. Now, those words might hurt people, especially if you're a humanoid, sensitive and empathetic. So, we have the balanced kinds of humans, we have the creative ones who are humanoids, and we have the one who ruins the fun. Now, you can believe in techies, humans, and humanoids, or you can choose not to hear me out, right? Up to you. I know, it sounds crazy. I wouldn't believe in the first time too. But there's one thing that you can't deny. These things do happen. Maybe this thing that my teacher taught me from long ago, me and my mom, that this is maybe just a personification of what's actually happening around the world. A personification of how powerful and impactful words can be, and the difference and meaning between what's normal and natural. Many of my friends probably know this thing that I would like to answer. So what is it? What is the difference between normal and natural, you may ask Naomi? Yeah, the simple answer is normal is something that is normalized and natural is something natural. I know, very boring, but let me get into detail. So, example, normal way of body positivity is loving yourself when you only look your best. That's not fair because I don't always look like my best. When I wake up in the morning, I look like a bum. That's okay, but not in the media, which the media normalizes these. See what I did with the word play there? Yeah. It's that when you start starving yourself or eating too much or work out without considering what it's actually for and how it affects your body and not even resting after you put into that work. Painful surgeries that, for cosmetic stuff, painful meds, and the phrase beauty is pain, and loving yourself. But it's not like that, Loving yourself is supposed to care for yourself, not hurt yourself, And people like to say loving yourself by only like eating what you want and like not work out at all because like, oh, I can do whatever I want with my body. That's my body, my choice, But you're not really putting into consideration your meal after that, right? And how it will affect your body in the long term, how harmful it could be to your body. Everybody says that's body positivity. But let's be honest, where's the positivity in that? And here's the natural way of loving yourself. Loving yourself is putting to thought what your body needs and what your body wants. That doesn't mean ignoring your cravings. It just means putting it into thought, but having a sense of belongingness of your body so that you have the ability to know when something is too much and when to say no to things. For example, I'm craving a chocolate bar right now, but that doesn't mean I would eat a whole tub of chocolates. So I grab something like a Kit Kat, something smaller, not too small, not too big, something enough, something for me to say, okay, I know when to stop, Or I'm craving a burger and some fries, delicious. But if I eat both of them in the same time, it would get me too sick and full. And I don't like that. And my next meal would be ruined because I'm gonna be too full, right? So I switch out the bun, usually with lettuce wrap. That's how it works. So putting to consideration and having the sense of belongingness that your body, you know how to control it and you know what it needs. You know, not everybody else. You know? People have different bodies. People have different appetites. So you can't really compare yourself to other people, especially in the media where it's all photoshopped, right? So be proud of every progress you make. Just look at bodybuilders, rock climbers, runners, basketball players, soccer players, and American football players, and gymnasts. Even guys' gymnasts and girls' gymnasts is two different things, So all of them are strong, but in their own way, in their own beautiful, unique, and suitable things that it's for their needs. So why compare yourself to others? That's the difference between normal and natural. What is normalized, what you think is good, and was put into media and pushed so hard to your mindset that it ruins you, and something that's natural, that's coming from you with your own way, with your own preferences. So my mom would always say this one thing. Shout out to mom, that the things that you can't see matters a lot compared to the things you can. So it's not always how you look, it's how you feel. If you are slim but you're unhealthy, that's not good. Love your body by giving it the care it needs. Food is something that you can enjoy, not to be hated. It brings people together. Food is love, food is culture, food is remedies, food is care. Food is love, guys. So be kind to your body, which brings me to the next part of the ideology, how words are very impactful and meaningful. Have you guys ever heard of this word that if you see in a magician show, abracadabra? Abracadabra. Does anybody know that phrase? Yeah? So abracadabra literally translates to I create as I speak. And I know all of you know this phrase, probably from an older relative. Omongan to doa. Ya kan? Yeah. And maybe something like, yang tadinya nggak ada, tiba-tiba ada. So, put that into thought. Yes, indeed. Our words, our prayers, and blessings, and if you aren't careful, a curse. When you say things that aren't true, maybe yet, you are making a possibility for it to happen. So, when you say, oh, I'm a bad person, I'm horrible, you're gonna end up like that. But instead, if you say, I want to be better, I want to improve, I want to be healthy, I want to heal, you will heal. Again, that's how manifestation and affirmation works. You, the things around you, the whole universe, and beyond that, is made up of tiny little atoms. We are all connected by the day we were born to the very last breath. We will end up one with the universe once again. But we already are. All our names and actions are written in the stars, all documented. We are all one. So be careful what you say, because if you ask the universe, she answers. She's just waiting for you to hear her call and signals. Here's a more logical explanation if that wasn't, your forte or it's boring. So, you know how people can manipulate the way they speak to get what they want? Or either for better or for worse? Yeah, it's like that. The tone, the cherry-picked words, the choice of expression, every single thing matters. Like if you say, let's eat grandma, I'm gonna call you to the police and put you to jail for cannibalism. Yeah. But if you say, let's eat grandma, you will have a very nice dinner with grandma, with some home cooking. When someone is being a bad person, we usually talk about them and shame them or hurt them. But really, we should just be praying for them to get better instead of getting worse. It helps everybody around us, and it helps ourselves too. Oh, and the next time you pray, take that as an opportunity. Be grateful of what you have and be thankful for every single thing that happened. Now, what happens if you encounter some techies? The one that says, oh, don't do this, oh, don't do that, oh, don't do this, oh, don't do that. I had a conversation with one of my most favorite teachers of all. Shout out to Teacher G. Woo woo. Right? We had a conversation about this. He's pretty well known to be pretty religious. I heard this, he said he heard this one khotbah that basically said, if you want to introduce people to good things, you need a good impression. And that really stuck to me a lot. So the example was, if someone said, I'm feeling depressed lately and I stopped praying for a while and I kind of skipped Zuhur and Maghrib, don't start yelling at them, oh, you're sinful, don't do that, God will hate you. No, don't do that, Why not just say, I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe let's try praying again slowly, getting at the hang of it and ask God for help. Maybe it would make you feel better. Techies like to spread those words and those way of thinkings, how to be perfect and orderly through the media by yelling and, in general, spreading hate. If you want someone to do good things, you don't want them to have a bad first impression of it, right? By welcoming and inviting them, well, you can achieve most everything. Let's say humanoids cross paths with a techie. Techies will try to normalize who you are. Again, normalized, right? But it isn't natural because it's not you. You don't know who you are. We do, And I think many of you guys know how it feels to be that way. The way you try to normalize yourself, the way you try to fit in, the way you pretend to be something that you aren't, it will end up making you stressed. So, let me ask you this. When was the last time you felt normal? When was the last time you felt like you fit in? When was the last time you felt like, you're okay, you belong? That's the thing. The way you try to normalize yourself, it will make you feel stressed because that's not who you are. And if you're ignoring all of those signs mentally, your body physically will tell you. It will tell you by getting sick, ill, stressed, headaches, migraines, everything like that. That's what a humanoid faces. And maybe your humanoid side can relate to this when I say that, be who you are. Humanoids can't just be repetitive like humans do because they have their own way of thinking and the way they do things, So putting them into a spot like that with so much pressure will freak them out. Sure, you can definitely act like a human, but if you are a humanoid, then you will stay a humanoid, and that won't change. So, when was the last time you really tried to change yourself? Now, before I go, there's one thing I would really love to share. In theater, I would always say to my fellow cast that every part is important. I'm a theater kid, so everybody knows me for saying this, but you can't have one missing. So you need to have the ensembles, you need to have the main cast, you need to have the stage crew. You can't be the main cast and don't have the crews backstage because the crews backstage gets the main cast ready for the next scene, The crews need the ensemble to distract and make the scene more lively and more, natural. What I did there? Natural? Yeah. And the crew, about the ensembles need the main cast to keep the story going. So every role is important. Every one of you needs to know that, well, all of you have a purpose in this life. Every role is important, even the ones you can't see, especially the one you can't see. So never thought to yourself, I don't have a purpose. I don't have this. I don't have that. I'm not supposed to be here. You are supposed to be here, and you should be grateful for it. You should be grateful for the people around you because what they do will impact the story forward, and you will learn from it, good and bad. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk, and I hope you really enjoy this.